I'm down. I find myself a DJ spinning downtown. My church.
Good morning. Good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sean, aka Fearless Poet, and I am out here in Piedmont Park. I'm telling you, I've been working and my mind is all over the place. But we are at Piedmont Park. I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Tim West. Mr. Tim, thank you so much for Tim M. Y'all get me together. Tim M. And we're gonna get into that too.
Right.
All right. Mr. Tim M. West is going to be with us on June 5th, 1 p.m. at the Simon Steakhouse in College Park on College Avenue. All that information will be at the bottom of your screen. And you guys got to come and see this phenomenal poet, hip-hop artist, what else? Activist. Come on, you give it
Social
entrepreneur,
author.
educator. You guys do not want to miss that. So I don't do anything, formal. Just get right to it. So just tell us let's talk about the name, Tim M. For the few people that don't know. I'm sure people know watching this, but just for the people that don't know.
We're both from Little Rock, by the way.
Little Rock,
Both
house.
And when I was a kid in Little Rock, I'm born Timothy, but I always I was a fairly shy, introverted kid, and part of it was because I had a speech impediment, and I would always get stuck on and it just became this thing that was a barrier for me. It kind of made me nervous to talk. I almost start stuttering when I start talking about it, but it was actually through musical theater, singing, poetry, those kind of things, the arts essentially, that really helped me get beyond the speech impediment.
What got you to where you are now? How did you initially start out to be motivated to do what you do?
Well, it's interesting because, when you grow up in Arkansas, we left Little Rock. So I'm a Cincinnati native, but we moved down south when I was young. Started school in Little Rock, and my parents separated when I was in junior high, middle school, junior high school. Moved down to a small town near Magnolia, Arkansas.
Magnolia.
Which to us, like Little Rock is the big city, but or Shreveport actually is a closer big city. And when you're growing up like that, for me, I had a very early awareness of my orientation. I knew something was different. I remember as early as I had a concept for marriage or two people sharing a life together, I actually thought, maybe one day I'll actually be with a guy. It didn't seem like a foreign concept to me. It just seemed like, okay, people can love each other when they get older and they spend a life together. And to me, that the object of my desire at that time was boys. And it wasn't so much sexual, just sort of romantic, But I very quickly learned that wasn't something that you were supposed to think. And so you buried it, you push it down. And for me, growing up a boy, I did all the manly things, but that desire never went away. And so I knew that in order for me to ever get to a point where I could fully actualize that dream that I had as a kid of having a life and a partner and all that stuff, that I would have to leave Arkansas. That's just how I felt, especially back in 89, 90. And so I did well in school and I did well in sports. And that was my ticket out. Interestingly, I became very academically motivated. So I was on the fast track to get a PhD in philosophy. And so I took a sabbatical from graduate school. That's when I started DDC, The Collective. That was one of the pioneering LGBT hip-hop collectives ever back in the 90s. Yeah, exactly. DDC. That's when I wrote my first book. And then that just, then I just started seeing I was touring, I was speaking at colleges, and I was like, this is what I want. This is my calling.
This is your niche.
This is where I try to give people in my sets both sides. I want them to experience the joy, the humor, the laughter, the hopefulness, but also the heartbreak, the struggle, the rejection, because all of those are life. That's life, and to be able to stand as a testament to having not just survived that, but thrived in that is so important.
Very good key word. That's been my key word for the last 2 weeks. I don't want to just live.
Right.
I want to thrive.
Mhm.
And everything connected to me must have some type of kinetic flow to that. I think that's so important. Wasn't important maybe 10 years ago. I couldn't even tell you what the definition of thrive was and how it applied to me. But now that is my catchphrase. You know,
And when
what am I doing to thrive?
And when you shift your mindset, things actually start to happen. Joy. I think something that I've embraced is finding joy in the performance, like in a way of like emanating and radiating a joyfulness about what you're doing, and having people connect not just to sound and words, but a certain energy that you are imparting. And that's something that I would watch old clips of performances that I've done, and there were things that I was like, okay, like I did it well, but then there were other pieces that like the people just responded to them in a certain way. And what I noticed the difference between those is that I brought that extra energy and passion to it. I think some of it was borrowed from my daughter. My daughter's an actress who's also a spoken word artist.
How old is your daughter?
She's 28.
28. Wow.
Yeah, she just turned 28.
Not like he has.
She's I'm in my mid-40s. Last year have definitely had. I feel like I'm at my best now as a performer in terms of delivering and executing. I'm going to do old music, newer music. I'm going to do poetry where I'm reading. I'm going to do poetry where I'm doing spoken word. I think sometimes we look down on the poetry on the page, but I think it's important. You know, it's written. At some point, it's written. You know, and I think sometimes people get so caught up in the performance of poetry and spoken word that I like that sometimes when I'm reading a poem and you hear people go, right? Because like they're less attentive to your performance when you're reading, and they're really attuned to the words. And so I think that there's a different value. Now I will get up and some of what I'll do will be the spoken word, da 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 da, bam, you know. But I still believe in when I did what was called the Front Porch, which is a series that I used to do for more than a decade. I really wanted my spaces to be a place where people could come and read. They could read from a napkin or something that they just wrote 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the best material and delivery.
Absolutely.
You know, okay, sir. I don't really, you've covered more.
Y'all got to come, show up. I don't get to perform at ATL very much, but this is where I live. I know I have a lot of fans here. And I'm just really excited about having a space. You know, I'm going to give y'all a nice little set to really perform and connect with you all. So, yeah. June 5th, Brunch, Punch, and Poetry.
We're supporting black businesses. I
Yes.
just made that announcement yesterday at a party, supporting black businesses. I think that's one of the most important things that we as black men and women can do. So we're gonna move it from Midtown. I've had it in Midtown for the last few months. Moving it down to College Park.
College Park, over there near me.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
College Park,
Yeah.
Simon's Steakhouse, great food. They got it all. They
Come hungry.
and they
eat.
come hungry.
Just don't get the itis while I'm performing.
Please don't get the itis. And you're gonna call them out. I love it.
I will do a freestyle poem about how they are falling asleep and what they ate on their plate. It'll be a whole mac and cheese, collard greens.
You heard
freestyle.
it. Don't fall asleep.
So don't
I
fall
really
asleep.
don't think you're gonna fall asleep on this guy because he is so interactive. Is the word I've got from you. And seeing your pieces is very interactive. So don't miss out. Brunch Punch Poetry, Mr. Tim M.
Yes.
And
See you there.
see you there.
Acrobatics, so elastic, extra business. What is this? Just a word. Magic. How we keep it